Hey everybody, it's Robert coming to you with another adventure into history. I'm out here with Mr. Dan and Mr. Cecil Young over here, grave finder extraordinaire. We are looking for another old cemetery out here. And where are we at, Dan?
We're back in the hills of Talbot County. This is what is known as back in the hills.
And that's a good example of it right there.
Now, we're not anywhere near Rough Edge. We're in the southern part of Talbot County. And we're between, the triangle between Talboton and Box Springs and Waverly Hall, kind of in that area. But we're looking for the old Hollis family cemetery. And I've never been there. I've heard of it all my life. And as a matter of fact, it is my brother-in-law's great-great-grandparents. So I've always heard of the Hollis Cemetery, and all I know about it is they said, oh, it's back in the hills. So Cecil has tracked it down, so we're going to follow him, hopefully back in here and find it.
Back in the hills.
Yep.
So we passed by an old wagon road, or an old road bed on the side. Hopefully there'll be another one I can show you on video. But super neat. Was this is in the middle of absolutely nowhere now. Was this heavily populated at one time?
No, I don't think so. I think it was just all big farms, and there was pretty much one road in and one road out.
Gotcha.
This was all Hollis family and a couple other big families that had big pieces of property back in here back in the old days.
So this is kind of one of the rare places it's always been in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of secluded even when they lived here, because it was a long way to Talboton, long way to anything, really, any major settlement. It was just big farms, and once the big farms played out, it was just out in the middle of timber country.
Yeah, which is what it is today.
Yeah.
We got permission, or Cecil got permission to come back here and look for the Hollis Cemetery. He's documenting all the cemeteries in Talbot County. And did this used to be a public road?
Yes, this has always been a public road, but it was closed off after so many years.
Gotcha.
We're off of what is known as the Hut Road, which there was a while that the Hut Road was completely impassable, but it's opened up a little bit better now. And this is a branch off of it that's now just a logging road, really. It doesn't go anywhere but back in here to the back side of these woods. Deer hunters have beaten pretty good paths back in here. Logging companies have had gravel brought in and put on the roads. But
then we get a fork in the road.
Yeah. The last time I heard of anybody that I knew of coming back in here was my brother-in-law's grandmother. Came back in here probably in the early 1970s when she was in her 80s, and she was riding on the back of a tractor. It was one of the farmers near here. Knew where the cemetery was, and he told her the only way he could get there was on a tractor, so she got on the back of it and he brought her down here.
Wow.
And her name was Mrs. Mildred Pierce from Waverly Hall. She was Mr. Felix Pierce's wife, and Mr. Felix's, I think his grandparents are buried back in here, because Mr. Felix's mother was a Hollis.
Gotcha.
So it's either his grandparents or his great-grandparents.
And was there a house? I mean, was this the Hollis home place was near the cemetery?
This was the old Hollis home place. And there are many, many African-American citizens here with the last name Hollis. This was a very large farm back in its day, and this is where their ancestors were from as well. There is a Hollis cemetery back in here somewhere that they used.
Gotcha.
Them and their descendants. Now a lot of them used that little church that we just passed by back there, Mount Carmel.
Yeah.
I think there's some of the Hollises buried up there, but that's more of a modern day thing.
So they had a separate cemetery that started as a enslaved burial ground, and descendants continue to use out here.
That's right.
Somewhere.
Yes.
So I've gotten off of the main road. Cecil and Dan are continuing the trek on towards the cemetery, but I wanted to show you this old road bed. This is a little bit wider than the first one that I saw, but this is a good example of an old road. And this is the road that, you know, the early settlers probably took coming through here. You can see how much it's been worn down from the big hillsides. And this one, you know, looks wide enough that cars probably traveled this at one time, early cars. But some of the ones we see like this are strictly wagon roads. And you can tell those old roads that were simply wagon roads because they're so much narrower than what would be a modern car width road or a modern road width. So it's pretty interesting to see. So I gotta get caught back up with Cecil and Dan before I go missing in these woods. But I wanted to add that it's always good to take that into account when looking for old cemeteries or old home sites or something like that when the road changes. So, you know, if directions said that it was off the side of the road, but these directions are from, you know, 1880 or earlier, could have been another alignment of the road. And that's sometimes why you'll find cemeteries further back in the woods than it would seem like people would be. And of course, other times they're just cemeteries that were just deep in some property. Like in the case of this one. So I've gotten a little bit behind Cecil and Dan because I've had my eye peeled to the ground for any kind of artifacts like arrowheads or something like that. And I did find a piece of pottery, a piece of Native American pottery. It's interesting, you know, we're looking for the cemetery of people that have come and gone, and then to find an artifact of another people that have come and gone from this land. It's interesting. Interesting, the progression of time. And anywhere that I see a bunch of rocks on the ground intrigues me because nature doesn't know the difference between an artifact and a rock. So anywhere where rocks gather, artifacts are liable to gather too. Like this. We got to confirm it with Dan though. Make sure that's what it is. See what he thinks. Dan,
yeah.
I know we're supposed to be looking for a cemetery.
What'd you find?
Tell me what I found.
I'm afraid that's just a rock. That's a piece of a churn.
Okay, so not Native American
that's
pottery.
not Native American.
Wonk, wonk, wonk.
That belonged to the Hollises.
All right. So everything I said about this being a Native American artifact, just scratch that. Just scratch that. It's just a piece of a churn. Cool nonetheless.
Yeah, or a jug or a mixing bowl.
Yeah.
It's early stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
We passed by, Cecil was told to look for a food plot. We found that. Then he said to look for a trail off to the right. And that was it back there. So we're hoping the cemetery is up on top of this hill.
That's what I had thought when I was back there. I said if I was going to look for a cemetery out here, it'd be up there. There's a big dead tree too.
That's right.
So
I hope that
maybe. So you'll laugh when you watch back this video and see me talk. Man, I found a piece of Native American. I got to ask Dan though to make sure. So
it was glazed on both sides. That's
gotcha.
how you tell the difference.
Okay, well, and a rock, just a rock. Well, we were on top of the hill. So, do y'all know what the cemetery looks like?
There's a wrought iron fence around it.
Yeah. Wrought iron fence.
The way the guy was talking, it's fairly maintained.
Wrought iron fence and fairly maintained.
Meaning the fence is maintained? Or the cemetery?
And one guy I talked to said somebody puts flags on it every year.
Oh, really?
Well, that could be one of the Pierce boys may come out here, you know. This Lucille's sons. So, I can't imagine it being on the side of the hill.
Yeah. There's a big dead tree and a cedar tree. Two things that we look for when trying to find old cemeteries. So a lot of people have been noticing that I've been wearing a vest lately.
Yeah.
Well, Dan has gotten jealous and he's decided to outdo the other Roberts. He's got a high visibility orange vest.
High visibility orange vest.
Yeah. Couldn't do green.
This is courtesy of Cecil.
Yeah.
It is not hunting season here right now, but there's always that high school kid who will sneak out into the woods and hunt.
Yeah.
Without his parents knowing about it. So I don't want to get shot by some kid.
That's right.
And if you listen carefully, you'll hear something at the foot of this hill.
I hear it.
There's water down there.
Yeah. I hear it. I don't know if people at home can hear it, but it sounds like a nice little bubbling creek down there.
I'd rather see that than the cemetery, wouldn't you?
Right. I think we'd have better luck finding that at this point.
Yeah. Well,
now, Dan, I know you said you wanted to see this creek or whatever, but you know we got to walk back up this hill, right?
We got to walk back, sure do. And it looks like if we get out here too far, we're going to fall down in it.
Yeah. We might be able to go that way.
It's a long way down there.
It is. Creek or no creek?
Where was Cecil?
Yeah, we're with Cecil.
Wherever y'all want to go.
Cecil, I'm with you guys.
Oh, see what it looks like. Brambles and briars down through there, don't it?
It does look like a whole lot of brambles and briars.
Oh, it is almost straight down.
Oh man, it is, but it looks kind of cool. You got to go now. It's been a while since we've done just a exploring kind of video, Dan.
Yeah. Why not, huh?
Dan's like, yeah, and it's going to be a lot longer before we do it again. What kind of tree is this? Beautiful bark.
Is that a beech tree?
Could be. I don't know.
I believe it is.
On a hillside of beech trees. You know what this reminds me of? That cemetery with the rock wall around it out in the hills of Ridgeway. Hills of Ridgeway.
I still don't know about getting down in there. That's a long way down.
I'm just disappointed by how small this creek looks from, I don't even see the creek.
I don't know. That is strange. It's there, but you can't see it. I think it's in a ditch way over there. This is a bottom down here.
Yeah, I thought it would be like right there.
Way over there on that, at the foot of that hill.
So we went down the wrong hill.
Let's not get separated from Cecil.
I see him. I wonder if we have cell phone service out here. And that's going to be a negatory. Look at that tree. Look at the bark on that tree. This is looking nicer.
This is where the old owners of the properties made their living.
Yeah.
This is a bottom. This is what we call bottom land.
How do they make their living here?
They could have grown anything down here because it stays wet, damp, and the ground down here was fertile.
Gotcha.
All they had to do was clear this and they had bottom land. See how flat it is?
Yeah.
This is a nice big place here for the farm.
Getting closer. Look at that. It was worth it. Definitely worth it. It's beautiful. Oh wow, look at that. This is quite the falls here. I mean in elevation.
Yeah.
See how far it goes down. Well, ain't that nice? What a beautiful creek. We didn't get turned into no toads by no sirens down here. I said we didn't get turned into no toads by no sirens down here.
No, not this time.
I was actually kind of looking forward to the sirens, but
Yeah.
oh well.
Well, it's cloudy and it is not too long before dark.
Yep,
And it's a long way out of here.
that's right.
And we didn't find what we came for.
Nope. Is Cecil still up there, or did he
still
say
up there.
forget you guys? And,
He's still looking for what we came here for.
yeah,
Oh, we got to climb that hill back out.
that's why Cecil's a professional.
Yeah.
I told you, Dan. Might be able to go up that way.
Well, that
Too many briars.
is a lot of briars in that new gate.
All right, well,
But we get up here, I think we can go that way.
all right. Yep. That'll be the last time I follow you down to a creek, Dan. Huh? Nothing.
Watch out for that.
Yeah. Almost out of it. Ah. There we go. Whew. And Cecil's nowhere to be found.
Cecil has left us.
Yeah. I think this is the way we came in. Yeah.
I don't think he can leave because you parked behind him.
Oh, that's true. That was nice of me. Okay, I'm gonna stop looking at the ground for artifacts because I don't know how to pick them. I've only found one arrowhead. Maybe I found 2 or 3, but I only found one arrowhead ever in Harris County. It was at a cemetery, or outside of a cemetery.
Yeah.
On the way to a cemetery, something like that. I think I got it on video too.
I think that was when you found it.
You were with me when I found it.
Right.
That's the one. Cecil! Well, we lost Cecil. This is great. This is gonna be one of those found footage horror movies. One at a time, we're gonna be disappearing. The sirens probably got him and turned him into a toad. Found Cecil. He's behind us. Did you find it? Nope, not yet. Maybe we didn't lose Cecil. Maybe he didn't get got by the sirens. Maybe that's still to come. You know, I don't know. Stay tuned. We don't know what's going to happen next. All right, it's late. Lights going down. You can't see much of nothing anymore. Done lost Cecil. Have no idea where he's at. Oh, wait a minute. I see him. I see him. He's right there. Never mind. I'm just delirious.
I think when you and I came up from that creek back there,
Yeah.
when we got up to the top of the hill, I think I died back there. I'm just dreaming that we're walking
You're
out
right.
of here.
Well, you know, I don't know how I feel about being in your dream like this because I feel pretty real, but
It's not that bad.
no,
It's just humid here.
it is humid.
It was 14 degrees. When? Was it Monday?
It was last week. It wasn't that long ago.
And today's Friday, right?
Today is Friday.
And we all came dressed for rain.
Yep. Well, most
At least
of us
I did. So this rain jacket I got on is getting rather hot.
Humid.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it's January. It's 80 degrees here in Georgia with 120% humidity. It ain't nice.
So far away from everything that no planes even fly over this.
No, not even. Midst of nowhere. As it's always been.
It's been a long time since we went this far back in the hills. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Most of the cemeteries that that we see are relatively accessible. But you know, you got to think about how many that there are out in places like this, you know, so far out in the middle of nowhere.
But I will have to say that this is the main one that we've always heard. You know, you mentioned the Hollis Cemetery, and anybody that knows anything about it says, oh, you don't want to go there. That's way back in there. You can't get back in there.
Yeah.
So, you know, Cecil will find it eventually.
Yeah, Cecil is an expert at finding graves. You can tell he's a professional because he brings a brush.
It's just not enough hours in a day.
All right, we're still kind of looking for the cemetery maybe. Dan, why is the reason that we shouldn't be here after dark in the cemetery?
I can think of lots of reasons why we shouldn't be here after dark. Nothing really. I mean, you know, we just don't want to be traipsing around out in the woods. There are bobcats out here, other critters. But I do remember that in the 1980s, there was a logging company that came here from, I want to say Jeffersonville, Georgia, and cut all this area that we're in now. I mean, it's hundreds of acres here that the timber company owns, and they cut all of this. And while they were here, they would take their logging equipment and they would keep some of it up at Mr. Frank Lucas's store up on Highway 208. And they were buying their gasoline and small, you know, lunch things from Mr. Frank. And one of the guys who owned the logging company came in the store one day and said, and this is like on a Monday or a Tuesday, he said that it got dark back in here, and it was on a Friday. Everybody had their paycheck. Some of them were going home and some were going to go to Columbus and stay in the motel. So they talked him into going to Columbus to eat supper. And they all went to Columbus, ate supper, and on the way back out here, he wanted to come back by here and get his truck, which he said he left down here near the Hollis Cemetery. The logging outfit had made a big area down here, and they had scraped the roads real good. And when they turned off of the road and made their way down in here, they saw the reflection of a taillight on a car. And as they got closer, they realized that it was a fine automobile. It was something like a Cadillac. And they thought, what in the world? And no one was in it. So they kept going. On down a little further, there was another nice big automobile. Then he said he saw a Mercedes, and he saw the tags were DeKalb County, Fulton County. Got on down in here a little bit further, and there was another nice car, had an Alabama tag. And he just said they stopped and thought, what in the world? And as they approached the cemetery, they looked down the hill, and they could see like a campfire, or what they thought was a campfire. It turned out it was torches. And he said that they got a little closer and they could see a cluster of people down there with black robes on. They could see them in the torchlight. And so one of the men came up to them carrying a torch, kind of trotted up to him and says, who are you? He says, I'm so-and-so, and I own all this logging equipment here. Every piece of it here is mine. He says, who are you? He says, what are you here for? He says, I'm here to get my truck. He says, well, then you get your truck and you get out of here and you forget you ever saw anybody in here tonight. He says, you let me get my truck and get out of here. You'll never see anything or hear of me again. So he went on down, got his truck, and come out of there. And of course, the next week they came back in here to log and nothing was disturbed. None of their logging equipment. He didn't know if it was a hazing ritual for a fraternity or what. All he knew is that it was a lot of people down in here from far away. Now, how they knew this cemetery was down here is beyond all of us. But that happened along about 87, 88. That is a deep, deep roadbed.
Yeah, it is.
What is that? 12 feet? 15 feet?
15 feet, yeah.
And that's the old roadbed going down in here.
Yeah.
To wherever it is we're headed.
So they were back here doing some kind of weird stuff.
Doing something strange that required hoods. Now he said that this was a 40-something looking man. He could see his face just a little. He had on gold rimmed glasses, and he said that this was not your ordinary college kid. This was a older person.
Sorry.
And here we find ourselves back in here. What time is it?
About 9 o'clock.
And the only reason we're pushing it this far or this late is because it is so difficult to get back in here. Number one, to get permission back in here, and then to come back in here when we all have time.
Yeah.
There is a descendant of this family that lives locally that I believe knows where it is, but lining up a schedule that we have off and that he has off is difficult because he works like I do all the time. So, and you, we all work all the time, don't we?
We do.
Now the road goes off to the right.
Yeah.
What you think, Cecil?
I think that's the old road bed that runs alongside this one.
Dan's never coming on another video again. Y'all say bye to Dan. These hills ain't supposed to be haunted, are they?
Nah.
Okay. Just making sure.
Not these. This is just the flip side of the rough edge.
Yeah,
But if you look here, it's like the entrance to Sleepy Hollow.
it is.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, it'll be dark in here in the daytime.
Yeah. The woods just got thick. Spooky woods. You know, Dan, people always asked us if we would go to a cemetery at night. This might be the time.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I just hope we find it.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't intend on making this trip again.
Yeah. No, I don't think it'll be down here either. Ain't gonna be there.
Look out this way here.
Alright.
Ain't there a drop off right there?
Yeah, it's kind of a drop off. It goes down.
Look out this way.
Alright. I see a bunch of woods.
Yeah, it could be right there.
Yeah, it could be. I don't see it. What was that? Oh, coyotes. Okay.
They hear us.
Yeah.
That's just great. Are they getting closer?
I think they are getting closer. I think we've just about exercised all the options for tonight of finding the cemetery.
You got the exercise part right.
Yeah, we're gonna do. We're walking back out now, so looks like this one will have to wait till another day, which is unfortunate. But we've definitely given it our all.
Cecil, you coming back out here tomorrow? Yeah.
Cecil's coming back out here tomorrow. All right, so we're still walking out of here. Bear in mind, we're like 3 miles into the hills of Talbot County. And we're walking back out. Thankfully, it's downhill on the way out, except for all the parts that are uphill, which is all of it. There's uphill coming in, uphill going out.
The camera doesn't do it justice.
No, it doesn't. Never does it justice.
No.
Oh, man.
This has been like walking all the way through Rough Edge.
Yeah,
Hasn't it?
that's a good,
From one end to the other.
that's a good way to put it. At least the coyotes have quieted down. Old logging fence.
Why was it up there?
I don't know. I can go find out. Old logging fence. This must be from back when this was an open road to keep people from driving back up here. Just thought it warranted a quick look. Make sure there ain't no cemetery up here. Oh man, look at that. There's an old road bed right there. That's that one that's like 15, 20 feet deep. What is this? It must be on a home site. I think it's an old refrigerator. You see it, Dan? Got big feet on it.
It would have been an ice box, or either somebody hauled it back in here, because there was never any electricity back in here.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Maybe it was an ice box. I don't know. I don't know. And so this is the road back out. I want to show you guys this over here. This is like an old wagon road. This is the old road bed. And this is an old one here. I was talking about this one earlier, although it's going to be much harder to see now in the dark. But you can see how narrow it is from side to side. It's almost too narrow for a modern car, although someone tossed a battery up over here. But it's pretty neat. This is also, that's a boxwood growing in here. So you know we were close to a home site somewhere up that hill. That's pretty neat though. But anyway, yeah, old road bed. Now, we got to catch up with Cecil and Dan so we can get the hell on out of here. We made it back to the truck, guys and gals, and we're gonna try to make it out of here. Dan, you got any final thoughts?
Oh my gosh, I better put my cap back on. Well, if dark hadn't caught us, it would have been okay.
Yeah.
But you can't really see out here very well in the dark. An old fence or a headstone or something to just blend in with the environment. I hate it that we didn't get to go visit the old church that's up there on that hill. We're passing it right now. We are a long way back in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And Cecil's coming back tomorrow. I got other things I got to do, and you got things to do tomorrow, so hopefully he'll find it.
Hopefully so.
If not, maybe you can come back with him Sunday.
That's right. Absolutely.